Hi guys, I've been in a horrible flare which I decided to document because maybe there will be somebody who goes through the same and feels alone. So this is like to tell you you're not alone. My symptoms are very extraordinary, I would say. Like, I do find people who have it, but very few, and those are people who have been harmed the most by medications usually. Not always, and not only by medications, but for the most part, I can relate to what I would say is like benzo damage, even though I wasn't on benzos, but this feels like like that exactly when I look at descriptions. So yesterday I had a feeling like it lasted for hours on end, from morning until like late afternoon. It felt like, I call it like toxic malaise, like this toxic feeling under my skin, like there's acid in my veins, but it's so weird. It makes me feel like I'm weak. Like I have this like intense ache, malaise, acid all over under my skin. It's really hard to describe, but I'm going to try. So I describe it like when you lick a battery, when you licked a battery when you were a kid. The first thing you get was this electrical sensation that felt like, this branching out. But no, I'm not talking about that. There also was this like sour sensation, like metallic sensation that came with it, like mid-major mouth felt like watery and sour. So this is the sensation it is comparable to all over my body. Sometimes it's not maybe all over, but more like it's usually my upper body and my legs too, but not as usual, and not my entire legs. But oh my god, it feels like liquid death has been injected into me, and it makes me feel fatigued, like I can barely move when it hits. I have no idea what it is, but it's something utterly terrible. It really feels like my blood is toxic, like it's been replaced with like battery acid. And when I move, it feels like it's like I'm melting. There's also this weird pain that resembles like when you have an open wound and you pour like hydrogen peroxide on it. It starts stinging really bad. So this is something I get on the inside of my body. So it will feel like some areas of my body start having this like inside. It's terrible. This type of pain is really awful. It's like all overwhelming, all encompassing. Like it feels like there's something really wrong with you under your skin all over. And yeah, I had that most of yesterday, and then in the evening it kind of morphed into what I absolutely hate. I mean, I hate all of my symptoms, but right now I'm in this flare after a virus, and it's been the worst it's ever been. So in the evening, it's turned into like what I call a deep itch. So it feels like areas under my skin. It's mostly my upper back, my shoulders, my neck, the back of my head, and a bit like in my ears. It can even go into like my face, but it's mostly concentrated at the back, and it can even go down here and into my arms, and basically it can go anywhere, but this is like the area where it focuses the most. And when it's so irritating because it feels like what itches is the area between your skin and the rest of your body. Like you want to, you have this urge of like wanting to, it's not an urge to scratch it, but it feels like really something has spilled under your skin and it's itchy, like you're having some kind of an allergic reaction, but underneath your skin. And it's extremely disturbing. And when it gets the worst, like sometimes I get like an attack of what feels like electrocution. And I'm going to show you an image now that I generated, which basically looks like what I'm feeling. Sorry, it's graphic. Yeah, so that's basically what I feel. It feels like there are electrical shocks shooting down my neck into my arms, and it's like something is like pulsating, throbbing, like shocking me. It feels like lightning is just perpetuating, and it goes into the places that are usually have the deep itch. It's kind of connected, like those two symptoms, like the deep itch is like the background feeling I get for hours, and then the discharges happen. And these discharges, like yesterday it was so bad that I was like, oh my god, I'm going to panic. Like to this day I don't know what it is, if it's from neuropathy. I have no idea. And yeah, with this electrocution, I also get what sometimes it's not even that painful, but it feels like something is discharging from the back of my neck into my arms. Like, you know, all these nerves are just activated, and it feels like I'm on the verge of some electrical, you know, like something is about to electrocute me. I would say in general, it feels like I'm hooked to some electric unit that just tormenting me, like maybe like a cattle prod, but instead of the cattle prod, like, you know, because if you hit an animal with a cattle prod, it moves. And for me, there is no urge to move with this. It's just like this, like something just suddenly flows through me. And at its worst, when the electrocution starts hitting me, it's like I get shocked every half a second to like 2 seconds. It's like shock, 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 you know, and it's insane. And you can't tell when you look at me, but inside I'm like, oh shit, what's happening? Oh my god, I cannot stand this, and so on. Yeah, and when that calms, you know, the deep itch comes back again, and it's so freaking annoying because it's like it's a form of nerve pain, but it's even like it's not an ache, it's just an itch. Oh, terrible. And then I got up with it today still, and yeah, and later on I had an hour of what felt like 8 and 9 out of 10 pain, of like deep aching. It basically feels like I mean, it's not at the back of my neck or head, like the I don't know, the deep edge pathway switches off for a while, and I get like burning and like a deep pain in my knees, in my elbows, and down my arms, like into my fingers. It's the worst in those areas, but it can happen even in my chest and some other places. But it's a deep, 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 deep nerve pain, deep ache, and it feels like I can compare it to two things I experienced before being like injured by meds. So one thing is when you hold something very cold from the freezer, like I don't know, a big piece of meat or something, you hold it in your arms, and the first pain you get is the burning, like it irritates your skin. But after that, there comes this deep, deep pain from what feels like your bones. Like you have to drop the cold thing because the deep pain is getting so bad that you just have to, you know, remove the cold thing from yourself and let your arms recover. And you're like, oh, come on, come on. And so this is something like that. Plus, it's like a deep toothache, but in your body, like, and it has this like burning, burning deep quality to it as well. It feels like your bone is aching and burning, and it like spills through all your tissues. Personally, I don't get a lot of skin pain, which is baffling because normally small fiber neuropathy comes with that. Like you feel like your skin has been sunburnt or like you have burned your hand on the stove or something. I don't get that too much. I get the deep pains, deep electrocution, deep feelings, like you know, like I just described. It feels like it's all centered like under my skin. And now that the pain has subsided, the worst of it, I still feel off, but it turns into like buzzing and like tingling, like my arms are tingling from my elbows down. The back of my head feels tight, like even my eyelids are tingling. So it's like these symptoms cycle in some weird, tormenting way. I mean, I'm grateful I don't have the 9 or 8 out of 10 pains all the time, but what's been worrying me is that the deep itch and everything is getting worse. Like, it's been the worst it's actually been. The attacks I get of this like electrocution going down my back, it's also getting worse. It's getting more frequent, and I honestly have no idea how I'm going to cope with that. As you can imagine, I'm terrified of medication because I have had reactions to, you know, benign things. Like a benign, I mean things most people tolerate, like hair dye, like dental work without anesthesia, just the feeling. And I need dental work now, by the way, and I have no idea how I'm going to survive this. So, you know, I started thinking about maybe having to try some pain meds because I'm doing really bad, but having had akathisia, and, you know, to be honest, I'm not even sure if I still have, I mean, I'm still probably prone to it. I don't have it like most people describe, but I have a lot of weird body feelings, and I don't know if it's just that lurking in the background or what. But it's like I'm at a point where I feel like I just need help. I mean, I've been like stuck like that for years now, but this right now it's like the worst it's been, because as I said recently, I've lost the ability to kind of push through my pains, because I was able to push through them in autumn. I mean, even in summer it was very, very bad, but I was still able to push through. I was able to push through in autumn, and it kind of got better in general. Like, the pains weren't as bad, and even if they flared, they didn't flare for hours or on end. They would flare for like 20 minutes, and then I could kind of continue with my day. Now it's not like that. It's just one thing turning into another, and it's horrific. And yesterday I forced myself to go out, and I sometimes force myself, but it's like nothing. I mean, I go, and it maybe sometimes it's awful, sometimes it's not as bad, but still, like, it's not like I can push through it anymore. Like, I feel like I'm going to collapse most of the time. If there is anyone who's been going through similar things, then let me know. If there is anything that actually helped you, let me know your story, how you got it, and so on. I would like to talk about this, because I can no longer pretend that this doesn't exist, because it doesn't happen to people who haven't been harmed by medications usually, or harmed by something, and there is nobody I can relate to in real life.